Hello and welcome to GTO Coach and Go. I'm Jim Delleman with Group Travel Odyssey. I want to thank you for joining us again today. And before we get started with today's topic, I do want to remind you, if you've not done so yet, if you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure, one, to like the video and also to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you click that little subscribe button down below, you can also ring the bell and you'll be notified anytime that we have new content on our YouTube channel. As well as that, we'd love if you would connect with us on LinkedIn, Group Travel Odyssey, and make sure to like the Group Travel Odyssey Facebook page as well. Well, today we are launching something that's been in the works for quite some time, and I know a lot of you have actually asked about this and for this, and it's basically ways for you to reprice your trip in Trip Manager. Once it goes into Trip Manager, how can we deal with changing pricing? Well, I'm going to bring on our engineer today, Christina Luth, and Christina's going to take us through this whole process. So welcome, Christina. How are you?
Good. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Looking forward to Thanksgiving. It's a short work week for all of us, but we do want to make sure that we get all of this information out to you so that way you have it when you are working in Trip Manager with all of the trips that you have in there. So Christina, tell us a little bit about repricing and what kind of brought this up and everything.
Sure. So what you will have in Sales Manager is you're putting together that estimated trip, the proposal for those costs, and what you're going to tell your client that they owe for the package prices for each person that's traveling. So what happens is, to many of you that you've informed us of and we're aware of, is that you have changes that happen. The count changes. Maybe you need to add a product or delete one. So lots of things can happen. And so you want to reprice that trip for those bigger changes so that you can just put it right into Trip Manager and know that price right away. So that is what we have built for you as a way to get that updated price when anything, like I just said, changes. So I guess without further ado, I will move right into there.
Okay.
Okay. So as I mentioned, this is happening in Trip Manager. So right now I am on a test trip in Trip Manager. And this is one that has just sent over. So nothing has been done on here yet. It's fresh to show you what would happen. The only thing that has changed is that I have put in the passenger numbers. So first of all, what you'll notice, for those of you especially that use Trip Manager often, you'll notice this form looks a little bit different. So what we have done along with the repricing is we've also worked a lot to condense those things that you are seeing on your forms in Trip Manager so you can get right to what you need to without having to scroll as much. So right here, you'll see you'll have those notes, passenger numbers, those same things that you had before. So as you can see, in preparation for today, I went ahead and I put in those updated counts as the same thing as they were when I had put the trip into Sales Manager. So what we're going to do is we're going to move to this brand new button that says Review Repricing Information. A quick nod to this is something that if you as a company, you don't want some people to be able to have access, just let us know and we can restrict it to just your administrators or whatever you need done. All right, and this is the brand new form for repricing. So there's a few things to mention on here. So first of all, what I want to show you is we have some new package levels. So what you'll see is the ones that you have seen before, which are those budgeted. These are the ones that come directly from Sales Manager. So they are the exact number, the price that you had put into there that was calculated. And then here, the booked numbers, as you've seen in the past, those kind of increase over time. So that booked package price is really going to show after you've gone through the whole trip, you've put in all of those booking counts, all of those booking prices, and then it will show you an actual. So what you actually paid divided by the actual number of paying people. So that will be ultimately a good comparison to this new middle one, which is recalculated. So this recalculated price is going to constantly evaluate the new options you've put in, your new passenger count, your booking, if you choose to use the booking price instead of the original price, and so on and so forth. And so the next thing we're going to move down is the bottom here to show you how this works. So right now we have trip products that are going to be included in the price of the trip. What you'll see here is you can see a breakdown of the budgeted per person cost, that recalculated per person cost. So mostly what you'll notice as a change, since this is brand new, you can see some things are a little different in just how it comes through for dividing out your group prices. So sometimes those group prices when they first come over will be a little higher. And then ultimately you're booked, which we don't have any numbers in yet, which is why it's showing as 0. So what I want to first show you is that you can get back in the recalculated to the original cost that you put in. So I'm going to go ahead and use this first column that's use original budgeted cost. What this does is it's going to tell the recalculated field, I want to use the original per person cost that I had put into my price. So I'm going to go ahead and use this quick little method to fill all those check boxes in. And then when you do this, you can go ahead up to here, this little drop down, and do save and keep working. So that's refreshing this page so that you can see the new recalculated price. And there we go. So you can see what happened is what I wanted to happen right here, that these budgeted prices and the recalculated are exactly the same. So I'm just showing you that to point out that if you wanted to have it exactly the same price, all you need to do is check these boxes here and use original budgeted cost. You can also just select some of them. Maybe you don't want to change the price for what you're charging for the hotel or the airline. Maybe you got something different in there, but you wanted to keep a buffer or maybe save them money, whatever the case might be. So you can choose to select just one if you would like to. And now I am going to unselect all of these for now, and then I'm just going to refresh. All right, and as you can see, that did adjust it slightly in the counts as it's dividing a little bit differently for the recalculated. All right, so the next thing to show you are these two columns right here. So sometimes what you have is a product where you don't want to include it in the selling price. Maybe you are charging for travel insurance, you're collecting that money, but you're doing it as a nicety towards that client. Maybe it's postage, something maybe that you are doing for this specific group. For those cases where you're still having a cost, but you don't want to charge them, all you would do is check these boxes and it will remove it from the trip cost. So we're just going to go ahead and say we're going to let them go to this national park. They don't have to pay for that. So we're going to go ahead and check that. Now this one right next to it, this no cost product, it's pretty much the same, except for that this is when you are basically totally canceling the product. So rather than deleting it, because you might want that for your audit later on, all you need to do is check the box that says no cost product. And what it will do is it will also mark in group accounting that nothing is owed. So just to clarify, this one is just not putting it into the price. This one takes it out of the price and says that nothing is owed. So that is the difference there. Excuse me. All right. So then what I next want to show you is how changing your count can show you live how that will change. So let's go ahead and say that, so we had started with this one, I think it was 1 double. So that shouldn't change anything. That stayed the same. But let's say they say, oh, you know what? We really need to have a single comp. So what is that going to do to my trip price? Okay, so let's put an updated one. So watch this line here. And as you can see, they did change. Okay, so, oh no, we lost a bunch of students for this trip. What is that going to do to my price? Let's go make it go down to 40. You can see it has adjusted again. So you can see that live on your page. So if you're talking to that director for that trip, that group leader, whoever is in charge of the group that's going on your trip, and they are asking you, okay, well, what happens if I add? What happens if I don't have enough people? You can tell them. You can go ahead and go to this page, start typing in the counts, and you can tell them live what that new price would look like. And again, if you don't want to charge them anything different for some products, just use that original budgeted cost and it will configure that accordingly. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel that count change for now. All right, and the next thing I want to show you, I'm going to go back to where I just was. Okay, so the next thing I want to point out are these line items. So in Sales Manager, what you are able to do is you're able to put in invoice line items. So those are going to be those things that are a group cost that the group is still going to pay, but the individual passengers are not going to pay. So in essence, it's taking out a price for that individual passenger. So on this specific trip, we did not have any line items that were budgeted into the cost. But let's say the group leader comes to you and says, we did really great on fundraising this year. We got $2,000. That's probably not great in fundraising, but we'll just say it is. So we got $2,000 in fundraising, and I want to know what that does to my trip cost. So you say, okay. And then I just did a little movie magic here, and I went to the group accounting trip. I have this open in another tab. So you go into group accounting, and what we're going to do is add a receivable line item. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Click add receivable. Just a quick note, in order to do this, you would need also permissions in the group accounting app. Most of you administrators do have both, but if for some reason you need somebody to have access to that group accounting because they didn't prior, so that they can adjust in Trip Manager, just let us know and we can look at those permissions for you. All right, so the only thing you need to do over here is select a payment type. You can pick any of these three, invoice line item 1, 2, or 3. You can have 3 invoice line item 1s, 3 of 2s, or 3 of 3s. It does not matter how many you have of each one. It will just take a total. So we're just going to say it's invoice 1. You don't have to put in a due date, but I'll just go ahead and put in today. And then you have a few options here for the amount. So for the example I gave of the fundraising, the easiest thing to do is in this budgeted payment amount group, I'm just going to go ahead and put in $2,000. If you prefer, if it's easier to calculate it out, you can create an invoice, and that will generate this amount that is from the line item. You can also do a per person amount times the total paying passengers to get that as well. So whichever is easiest for you. All right, and then if you want to have a note show up as far as what this is going to be, go ahead and put something in that AR notes field. So this is where you're going to put it in. I'm just going to go ahead and say it is fundraising. And then that will show up on that repricing form. So we're going to go ahead and save and close. All right, and then to go back to Trip Manager, you would just push this button, but I have it still open in this other tab. And I am going to go ahead and go to the main page here and go back into the review repricing information. All right, so I just wanted to show you here so you can see that these prices did go down. You can even see right here, the booked, again, they're negative just because nothing has been booked yet on this trip. But you can see the recalculated prices did go down because we did put in this total invoice line items. And just so that way you have that communication, here is also a field that'll tell you it's 2,000 and it's for fundraising. So the more you have, it'll just put more bullet points there listed as far as what that entails for that total invoice line items. If you did have a budgeted, it would show here as well from Sales Manager. We just didn't have any for this specific trip. All right, and the last thing to note on this specific page, well, actually 2 last things. So the first one is going to be this area here. So we have these booked percent markup, admin fee, percent admin fee, airline margin, and currency conversion rate. So just wanted to point out that these are all values, the budgeted, that come over directly from Sales Manager. Whatever you have put into there is going to show as the budgeted. If you want to change it, if you need the book markup to go up or down, if you want to add a per person admin fee, any of these things listed, you can go ahead and change them. They're automatically filled in when you push the trip over from Sales Manager into Trip Manager. They just are a copy. But again, if you want to change that, you absolutely can. So for instance, if I want to change my percent markup to 22, so watch those prices there, you can see it's gone up. So that is another thing that you can do to adjust that trip cost. If you do have a different currency for your trip that you need adjusted, you can also go ahead and put in that currency conversion rate. If it's blank, don't worry, it'll take care of that in the formulas for putting those trip prices together. But use this if you do need to change over that currency conversion. All right, and then the last part on this form to point out to you are these package prices, as we've been talking about. So the next new important thing that we have added here are these use prices check boxes. As it states right here in this green statement, you select one. And basically what you are doing is you are telling the GTO system, these are the prices I want to charge my clients. So it will be reflected in group accounting automatically, and you can push this button for it to go to Passenger Manager. So I want to charge them my recalculated prices. So when I check that and I save, it's automatically going to save in group accounting, and I can again push this updated prices and it will update there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll save it and we'll update everywhere I want it to be updated. If you want, we can even go and look and check. Let's take a moment for it to load. All right. Okay. All right. I'll make loading over there. Okay, so while that is loading, we're going to go over to the trip products. So on the trip products, we have also made some changes. All right. So we're going to go ahead and open up a few here to show you the changes that have been made. I'm going to go ahead and open up an airfare, a hotel room, motor coach, and just a random one. Okay. The reason I've opened up several is because you will see that the form looks a little bit different for each type. So before there were some things that were on what you were putting into your trip product, we have extended that to just help you see only what you need to see for each type of product. So for this airline product, you'll notice this top section has shrunk down. All of the fields you want are still there. You just might need to open it up, and then you can see what you need to see there. So up at the top, you will see for the product pricing of this, those are those check boxes we were just talking about, the use original cost, the don't use in the price, and the don't use at all. That's just taking it out of the trip. And then we also have that broken down by your budgeted costs, your recalculated costs, and your booked costs. So you can see that comparison side by side, as well as a currency conversion if that needs to be done. All right. And then what you'll see down here, like I mentioned, this bottom part is just showing what you need to see. So for an airline, you will notice we have the different fields. If I go into edit, all right, if I go into edit, so you will see that this first tab here, pricing breakdown, this is just going to be fields that you fill in. So they are going to be different prices that you would be able to fill in here. And then the next tab is going to be everything calculated. So we've split those in two for you to just further clarify that this is where you fill information in, and this is where you calculate information. So just keeping that separated. And then you can also see, for those of you who like to have that connection with group accounting to ask for things to be paid, that will exist now in this group accounting tab. And everything else is the same as it was before in the other tabs. All right, and then just to quickly show you the other types. So this is a hotel type. You can see the bottom part for pricing is just hotel. And then on the total page, you'll notice that it has been just, again, hotel. And it will break it down for you. So this top section, this is going to show you the pricing totals for a per person. So when you're going into your calculation of what is being put into your trip price. So that's going to be these types of items. It's going to be your tour director, your driver room, your hotel fees, your breakfast costs. So that's going to be this total down here. And then we also have your hotel total cost calculation. So this will look pretty similar to what you've seen before, where ultimately it's going to tell you how much you owe the hotel completely for everyone, whether it's budgeted or booked. So that is the hotel change. And then motor coaches. So same theme. We have that information here just for motor coach that you would fill in. And then our totals. So you're noticing it's pretty much the same thing as we go along. And then again, we have one that's just an individual price. You again have those prices you fill in, and you have your totals. So that is the same thing for all those different types, depending on what you're opening up. That bottom part's just going to show you what you actually need to see.
Hey, Christina, we've got a quick question here.
Yes.
If they are using WeTravel and they've published a trip to WeTravel and then they have to change something with the price, is there a way that will populate to WeTravel as well, or do they have to update that manually?
That is a great question. So specifically with WeTravel, we actually have been in talks with them about from their end if that is something that we could do. Currently, that is not a service that WeTravel offers, but that is something that we have told them we thought would be very helpful for you, our members, our users. And so we're in talks with them about whether we can add that in the future. So currently, unfortunately, it's not going to go directly to WeTravel. You would update that manually, but we are hoping to get that added for you.
Excellent. Well, thank you. And thanks for the question.
Of course. That's a great question. And okay, so that is our repricing up. Done. So that is everything that you need to know about repricing. If you do have questions, of course, let us know. These forms will go live directly after this Coach and Go. You will be able to see them.
And as always, as we've often said, if you have any questions, you can contact us, but you can also email our help desk. So it's help@gtonetwork.com, put help in the subject line, and then put out, in the body of your email, of course, just let us know what you need help with, and we'll be more than happy to reach out and let you know. So if you have questions about any of this or anything else in our GTO system, by all means, please reach out to us. Christina, thank you so much for showing us this information. Again, I know we've been working on this. You've been working on this for a long, long time. So Thank you for all the hard work in getting this up and running. And now we can all get ready for Thanksgiving in the next couple of days. Just a reminder to all of our members that we do have Thanksgiving this week. So our offices will be closed on Thursday and Friday. But again, you can reach out via the help desk if you need anything, and we'll have somebody monitoring that. GTO Coach and Go happens every other Tuesday at 2 p.m. So every other Tuesday at 2 p.m. we'll be bringing on Christina and others from our GTO team to take you through some updates, some new things, just kind of refresh you on some processes within our system to kind of help you with the efficiency of your own day-to-day work. So make sure to join us every other week at 2 o'clock right here for another episode of GTO Coach and Go. You can also find other episodes or previous episodes on our YouTube channel. So again, make sure to go to the Group Travel Odyssey YouTube channel or YouTube page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So that way you have access to all of that information as well. On the weeks that we don't have GTO Coach and Go, we do a GTO Fast Break, and that's where we will do a very quick little video to show you just a quick process, something to help you, something to update you a little bit on some of the things that we've been working on and tweaking within our system. And again, A lot of these things happen because of the feedback that we get from you, our community. So if you do have ideas, if you do have questions on things, don't ever hesitate to contact us, because that's how a lot of this process gets built. Again, GTO is something that we're continually working on to make your life easier, to make your life more efficient. So don't ever hesitate to contact us. Again, Christina, thank you so much. Hope you have a fantastic day. And I hope you have a fantastic Thanksgiving as well.
You too. You too. Thank you.
Excellent. Everybody out there, thanks for joining us today. And we hope to see you again very, very soon. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of GTO Coach and Go. We invite you to stay connected with Group Travel Odyssey on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And be sure to check out more of our media, including Destination Dispatch and the Destinations Beyond Expectations podcast. Please visit our website, grouptravelodyssey.com, where you can learn more about GTO and request a demo. Group Travel Odyssey, business without boundaries.